Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Courtney Edman, and I am the chief coach and founder of To Tame the Shame Parenting and To Tame the Shame Coaching. And today I wanted to talk with you about the 7 keys to unlock your way to becoming a compassionate, curious parent. And I talk a lot actually about being compassionately curious. And so I thought I would share with you the 7 keys that I believe if we follow will allow you to become a compassionate, curious parent. So the first one is to presume positive intent. What does this mean? Well, Dr. Ross Green shares that kids do well when they can. And instead of assuming if a child is not doing something or if a child is misbehaving or off task or simply not following through with what you have asked them to do, if we presume that they actually intended to do that or would like to do what they've been asked to do, and we get curious and we extend compassion instead of judging and assuming and presuming that they're lazy or unmotivated or not listening or any of those other things that we tend to do, and we get frustrated and angry. If we presume positive intent, it allows us to come from a place of how can I help you rather than a place of irritation and frustration. So that's key number 1. Presume positive intent. Key number 2 is to identify and provide opportunities for your child to pursue their strengths, skills, and interests. Now, why is this important? Well, would you like to be doing dishes and laundry all day long or doing things that are tedious for you? Of course not. And neither do our kids. And so we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for them to pursue things that they enjoy and they feel good at. And by doing this, it allows their confidence, their self-esteem to grow and for them to understand, hey, I'm actually good at something, instead of the negative feedback that they get when they're not meeting expectations repeatedly. So key number 2 is to provide our kids with opportunities for them to pursue their strengths, their interests, and things that they enjoy doing and are good at. And if you don't know what those things are yet, providing different opportunities outside of sports. If our kids don't enjoy sports, it doesn't have to be where we force them to spend time. There are plenty of other things in the arts, music, gaming, and I'm not talking necessarily just video gaming, but also interactive live role-play gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, those types of things. So there are plenty of other places that we can find our kids, give our kids opportunities to find things they're interested in. So the third thing is to schedule time regularly to connect with your kid with no strings attached. So this allows our kids to really feel like we value them for who they are with no strings attached, that we're not providing any expectations for them in terms of what they have to do. We're not providing any expectations for them to do it on their own. We're really joining with them and spending time with them, focused on them, and just having fun together. So maybe it's reading a book together, doing a puzzle, maybe it's taking a walk, going on a bike ride, throwing a ball around with them, playing a video game with them, trying out a new recipe with them. It's really, what might they be interested in? What might you enjoy doing with them? What might they enjoy doing with you? And really following the lead and being present in the moment together with whatever it is that you might enjoy doing together. It's really about sharing the gift of time with them more than anything else, and attention. So number 4, be clear about and share your values and expectations with your children. Now, as a compassionately curious parent, sometimes it might seem that I don't think it's important for us to maintain our position as the parent, that it's really about the kid coming up with ideas and the kid being in charge, but that's not true at all. You really are, what is important is for you to be very explicit and clear about what your expectations are. Our kids are sometimes not able, because of the way that their brain is wired and the way that they think, not able to create a picture in their brain, to know what to hold information in their brain and then apply it in the moment, right? That's that working memory piece. And so it's really important for us to be concrete with our kids in explaining our expectations, because if it's in our heads but it hasn't been shown to them, shared with them, repeated with them, maybe it's hanging in the kitchen someplace about what our expectations are, they aren't going to know it. So I think it's really great to spend some time and be very clear, not only about our general expectations, which might be family rules, but about like the expectations for what's going to happen in the morning, the expectations for what's going to happen in the evening, the expectation for chores, all of those types of things. The more explicit and visual you can get with those things, the better off, the more likely it will be that your child will follow through. And the more consistent that you can be in the implementation of those and the communication of those, and being compassionate about it, right? And being firm about it, the more likely it is that they will eventually be able to follow those and adopt those and understand those. Presenting those rules and expectations to them in a compassionate way, firm, but it can be firm, but it can be also can be compassionate. You can ask their input, find out if they have questions. And I always find that if we can base the expectations that we have and ground those expectations that we have in our values, the more likely it is that our kids will understand it and see it be in action, because we will be living those by those rules ourselves. And because the rules are grounded in our values. And so they won't just see that we expect them to follow and, live by these rules, but they'll see that we are expecting ourselves to live and follow these rules as well. So I hope that makes sense about making sure that we're clear about our expectations, sharing our values with our kids, and then, when things do go off and our kid doesn't follow the rules, we can always go back and say, remember, this is what the rule was. I'm curious, if like what happened that resulted in you not following the rule, and having a conversation where you get curious about that, right? And what was the obstacle? So let's say number 5 is be a patient problem solver with your child. Uncover the obstacles, discover possible strategies and solutions. So this gets at the real heart of being a compassionate, curious parent, especially when there's a challenge. So a lot of the other things are really laying the groundwork, like putting money in the bank, right? To establish that connection and relationship with your child that really builds that foundation of the step stool model for growth and success that I base all of my coaching on, and now I base my parenting on. Right? It's about building that strong foundation of acceptance, of trust, of safety, and of resilience, right? So by being a patient problem solver with your child instead of a directive parent, we're building that safety and trust and resilience, and helping and inviting them to become problem solvers. And if you're curious about these, this key in and of itself, I did a whole separate video about it, that really dives into the nuts and bolts of how to be a compassionate, curious, patient problem solver to uncover the obstacles and discover possible solutions. And so key 6 is to take time for your own self-care, because that is important, right? We put our own life jacket on first, in order that we can continue to show up in the daily grind of life, to be this calm, compassionate, curious parent that is guiding our child through life with the brain that they've been given. And that takes a lot of energy, mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy to make it all happen. And so be kind to yourself figure out what is it that you enjoy doing. What is it that gives you replenishes your soul, replenishes your mind, replenishes your body. Is it going to an art class? Is it going out on a bike ride? Is it going out with friends? Like, is it going to a concert? Is it listening to music? Is it going for a run? What is it that fuels your joy? Make time for that. Um, and then, above all, be patient. Your child is on their own timeline, and society says they must achieve certain things by certain dates. And that is a wide spectrum. And if we can continue to look for what's the right next step for our child and support them in building the skills, the emotional regulation skills, the self advocacy skills, the self determination skills, but most importantly, the self confidence to believe in themselves and to know that you believe in them and their ability to succeed, by being patient with their timeline as it unravels and unfolds, maybe is the best word. um, they will eventually have the skills because they will have had the connection with you, the problem solving abilities. They will simply have that self confidence that was built through years and years of your being this calm, compassionate, and curious problem solver with them. And so, the joy that I hope you will experience, despite the challenges of being, of being patient, and having to show up in a different way for your neurodivergent child, will reap its rewards over time. Be patient. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up, connecting with your child, getting curious with your child, helping them to believe in themselves, taking time for yourself to take a break, naming your expectations, presuming positive intent, spending time without any strings attached with your kid, helping them find their strengths, their passions, their places where they enjoy time. And I hope you'll join me in creating a movement of compassionate, curious parenting in which we bring more connection to the world, more patience to the world, more joy to the world, and more opportunity for people to believe in themselves, be confident in themselves, so that they can share their gifts with the world.